Well, it's me again. Been watching the news, and I'm telling you, my heart's a breaking. My son told me to stay away from the news. My counselor told me to stay away from the news. But I do like to know what's going on in the world so I can do something, maybe make a difference. Um, I guess we just don't know. I know one thing. Kids shouldn't have to worry about going to school. Or people shouldn't worry about going to church. And people shouldn't worry about going grocery shopping. Hmm. And unless somebody does something about the NRA and their stupid laws, it used to be like in the day when they were just about hunting and teaching safety, they weren't as bad, but dad blame something went wrong somewhere. I don't own a gun, I never did own a gun, and I got shot with a gun, but I didn't own a gun. My family owns guns, most of them. My daughter does, my son does, and some of us do, some of us don't. But the ones that do, they teach their children to be safe and they don't give them access to it unless they're with them. And 18's not considered a child, but if you can't get a driver's license, you can't vote at that age, how in the world you're going to go get a gun? Or that's what somebody said. I don't know if that's true. Texas laws, I ain't researched it. But I know they're pushing sales of them kind of guns. And it's wrong to be using military style weapons on children and churchgoers and targeting people because of the color of their skin or their religion or their culture. Just because you're different. I might have been borderline autistic or something when I was young because I was just weird. Um, so But I learned at an early age to make people laugh at me, and then if they're laughing with me, it doesn't hurt when they laugh at me. And I get mad when people lie on me, and somebody told me if they ain't talking, you ain't worth nothing. So I guess I've been worth quite a bit, but I ain't got no money still, so I ain't worth nothing. My kids do okay, and if it wasn't for my kids, I guess I'd be out there in the street sleeping in the car. At least the car's paid for. Thank God for helps from my kids. Yeah, my children, my pride and joy. My grandchildren, my pride and joy. My youngest granddaughter is going to be graduating the 31st, and I got an invitation, so I get to go and see her. I I I heard they like text, and then I found out they don't like text, and I don't know what to do to communicate with your grandchildren anymore. When they get 18 and 14, then they don't like when they were little. They loved my silliness, my little children's songs and playing hide and seek with them, and you know and um, making them laugh because I'm funny like that, and I'd be saying things they didn't understand at all because their mom was highly educated and I was a little bit educated, but it was more educated with life than high up education like a master's degree or something. It's her mom's highly intelligent, my son's highly intelligent, so they do okay. And now Aiden, he still thinks I'm funny, but he ain't 18 yet. But he told me once, but he was younger, before he got thinking, well, it's going to cost this, this, and this, and this, and this, so I don't think I'm going to be able to take care of your grandma. Ideal. So he told me one time when he was younger, though, he was going to move to McLean, Virginia, because that's where all the rich people live. Go, well, I wouldn't fit in there. As he goes, he's going to buy him a three-car garage home with an in-ground pool that was heated in the wintertime. Like, whoa, that is money. And he's going to build him a little side house, like a guest house, but that's going to be my house. And it's going to have a washer and dryer, and it ain't going to have no stairs, and it's going to have a washer and dryer. And I could just come and visit on the pool if I want to, because it'd be connected to the pool. I go, wow, boy, he set me up there good. But, it is what it is. My children do help take care of me, though. My grandchildren are kind to me. So I'm lucky there. I'm very blessed there. And my granddaughters, I ran into one of their friends' mom, and she came up when I had my grandma shirt on, and she wanted to know if I had twin granddaughters because I danced with my hat. And I said, how'd you know? And she goes, that my granddaughter is a professional chef, one of them, and the twins. And her twin sister, they're both friends with her daughter, and they play D&D together. And I wanted to learn D&D. I could spend some time with my grandchildren. It might be fun. But I don't think they want old people around, you know. But they were kind to me when I am around, and show me great respect. I mean, they've always been respectful toward the elderly, and they're not abusive toward someone who's less fortunate or different, and they're just awesome, awesome, awesome. All my grandchildren are awesome, and so I give credit to my children. And I'll say something, and Angel says, Mommy, are you copying me? And I said, why do you say that? She said, yeah, I've been saying that ever since I was. And I'm thinking, well, I was Mom, where'd you learn it from? But I didn't say nothing. I said, yeah, I'm copying it from you, Angel. We teach kids stuff, when they're younger and they forget we teach it to them. And then when they get older, and something comes up to where that works, and they say, well, man, she said at one point that I didn't raise them, they raised me. They kind of did, though, because when I talk, and I'll be trying to say something, but it was not coherent to educated people that have to explain me to them, and then they'd have to go explain the big words that I used learning by studying and going to college and studying and from them, big words. Then uh, they would turn around and tell my relatives down in the mountains what them big words meant, and they said, well, why didn't he just speak plainly? So, but I can't understand why it has to be so. But they was talking about, somebody knew who was going to heaven and who's going to hell, and they knew they're going to heaven. And I don't know if I'm going to heaven or hell. But what we do between the time we're born and the time we die, it's what we do in between those times that makes a difference and make us whether or not we're a character or not. We could have a low character and be hard-hearted and mean and selfish, or we could have a medium character and be a little bit selfish so that you don't practically starve yourself. But would be uh, well off enough to make ends meet better than a poor person would. So what we do between the time we're born to the time we die, that's what makes us us. So what you do between the time you're born and the time you die, it makes you you. You can choose to be a good you and be kind to people And, try not to cause trouble. Like me, I get in trouble a lot. But I speak out when something ain't right too much. Well, I guess I've talked too much. My allergies kicking in. I had a doctor's appointment this morning, I thought. I was due for my physical, and my doctor's in Alexandria, and I had a different phone number, so they tried to contact me because she wanted to reschedule the physical. The, you know. And I go, well, I go in there all the way into Alexandria in this morning in rush hour traffic. And I get there and I'm like 5 minutes late and I'm worried about being late. So I walk up there and I go, oh, we tried to call you. I go, no, not on my phone, you didn't. What number did you use? And they'd used my old number. And so here I wasted my time, which you wasn't really waste. All I do is try to not hurt my back worse than what it is or my knee worse than what it is. Um, you know, so I went all the way in there and then I came all the way home. Wasn't too awful bad though. I mean, just, it was like stop and go once you got around Springfield where the mixing bowl is. But then on down south, it wasn't that bad. But I got here and I ate because I had my physical. You fast and you don't eat anything from 12 o'clock to the next day. So you have to have a clean body, from food and stuff, because they take your blood pressure and your walk. And I don't know if they check your urine or not. I don't know if they do everything or whatever they do, but they do take your blood pressure and review your medications and see what in the world, if your blood pressure's high. I've been eating oatmeal. It was high, so they had me on some cholesterol medicine, but I ran out, so I decided I'm gonna eat oatmeal and see if I bring it down. If I do, I don't have to take the medicine. So that's what I've been doing and trying to eat greens. And they joke at me around here because my granddaughter's got me a flower, and its name's succulus. So I thought it was edible, and my daughter thought that was so funny, but I didn't see where that was so funny, you know. Anyway, she thought it was funny. I didn't know why she thought it was funny, but she thought it was funny. And I go, well, why is it so funny? They said it, and Caleb said he went and Googled it. They Google everything when I ask them something. I don't believe that, and I'm going, well, it sounds like it might be edible. So he Googled it, and it is, but it's bitter. So it probably can be used as medicines, a little bit of this and a little bit of that, And so then I said, well, if it's bitter, it's probably healthy for you in some way or another. And they go, good Lord, she ordered green stuff and she wants to eat it. I said, yeah. I was married to Marine, went to Rhode Island. There was a big old park there. I went there, man, and they was like in Washington D.C. They got this park. I think the park that goes right down into Northwest Washington D.C. And then they allow the residents of D.C. to go out there and forage, and it's healthy food. It's plantain and wild mustard, and it's what Mama used to call mule's tail, but I'm sure there's something else called for it. It's some other word. But I know what these plants look like, and I was driving through there, and I'm going, well, and then I talked to somebody who's a resident of D.C. said, no, if you have Virginia tags, don't be doing that. And I go, why? And they said, because it's only for D.C. residents. And I said, well, that makes sense. Virginia's got all this land. Why don't they grow some wild greens like that for people? And there was a doctor I had at one point, a health doctor, and we parted ways. But I have medical problems she didn't weren't aware of that was really severe, and it was a new doctor, and when I tell them why I got medical problems, they look at me like, you crazy. No, I'm not crazy. I'm telling the truth, but it's hard to believe. So it's hard to find, doctors. So I try to keep the same doctor. And I chose them because they were twins, and one of them's name's George. And when I went there and got the appointment, it was, while I was working, and it was on my United Healthcare. And so I went there, and George, which was the one I chose because my dad's name's George, well, he wasn't available. Dr. Manny was. And it turns out Dr. Manny played a guitar, or my daddy played a guitar, and George played the drums. I go, wow, okay then. I said, dang, ain't that amazing? They're twins. His name's George, and you played a guitar. And I talked to him, I ran into him in the elevator before I found out I wasn't supposed to be there. And I asked him how his family was. And he said his daughter, one of them's a doctor, graduated. I said, oh my gosh, she's in medical school or something. I said, oh my God. And then his youngest one went to Virginia Tech, I guess, and took some kind of, anyway, she's going to be doing stuff that's really important for the ecosystem, I think, something like that. I can't remember what the big word was. I've had a lot of head injuries. I can't comprehend sometimes. My daughter helps me. So if I get mail, is this important? Should I worry about this? And she goes, no. Or yeah. So they help me. Because that last head injury was pretty severe. And it was uncalled for and very much, very corrupt situation. So wasn't happy about it. But now I stutter if I get upset, and I can't comprehend what I used to be able to comprehend, and my eyes got worse. And well, of course, COVID came along, and I had to fight that. I did get vaccinated though, so I got sick when it first came out because I was driving for Uber, and they didn't tell us. They were aware of it and didn't tell us till later and later. And after then, I was already sick, and I missed like 3-4 weeks of work. And my daughter's getting upset with me. And I'm just going, this ain't right. This ain't normal. I never had a flu in my life. Never took flu shots because my mommy was an herbalist, and we always ate all these greens that they keep complaining that I want to eat. And it was good for your immune system. It helped your liver and your kidneys and all that. And so I said, well, but that's what saved my life, when I got shot, eating healthy. He said I had the healthiest colon he'd ever seen. Wow. And your immune system's in your colon. So now I did eat our family recipe of mixed pickles. Can't buy it in the stores. But maybe my granddaughter might be able to arrange, special orders. I don't know. We'd have to talk to her about it. But it'll clean your colon out. So if you eat those with pinto beans, which gives you protein. But I put beans in mixed pickles now, so I can't eat meats a lot because of my colon. So I eat beans, which is protein, and it's actually healthy for you. So pinto beans and cornbread, hey, that's some meat right there. Yes, ma'am, and sir, and children. So I guess there are some good things about growing up poor because you learn how to eat healthy. And you learn how to grow healthy, your food and stuff, and so that's a good thing. Good thing. So, anyways, I mean, I know people are tired of prayers coming when they get shot and stuff, but I don't know what else to say except I'm available for any entertaining that I might do to help improve the younger children, you know, that don't understand things maybe, or teenagers or whatever, or if somebody, wanted some service. I wrote a poem, and it was read in a Catholic church in Pennsylvania. And I was surprised because I wasn't Catholic, but they were members of this Catholic church for a long, long time, and her sister died, and I went up there to take a friend of mine there, and I just wrote the poem for them. I thought it might help them, comfort them, and they said yes, and will you read that in our service today? And I go, okay, you sure that's going to be acceptable? And they said yes, and so I did, and it was, I don't know what they ever did with the poem or what, or after that, they probably might have said, this Twitter trash, but it seemed to touch the sisters that were mourning. Now, I'm sure that little girl that read that poem when Biden was inaugurated, she could probably write something much more beautiful than I could to help people, but I don't know. I just don't know. Something got to be done, though. I can vote. I was debating voting for a while there, and then I got to thinking, well, it's the only power I have right now. But if I get real smart after learning and learning and learning and learning some more, maybe I can run some from the local offices and get some changes done. Don't know. I'm getting old. So when you get old, I'm 71, but everybody goes, what? Now, I donate my hair. That's why it's growing long. It's much easier to handle if it's short. But I donate 2 weeks for kids with cancer. So if y'all got some long hair and it's getting hot and you want to get rid of it, there you go. Help a kid with cancer, because when I went, my daughter was fighting her cancer. I went, and those kids, and it bothered them because they lost her hair. It broke her heart. She was losing her hair, but she had a special kind of cancer and was survived. And she didn't lose her hair. But now I did feed her lots of greens and use some, you know, some medicines without her knowledge. But it helped, so she's still with us, and now I have a grandson and twin granddaughters, so it's a good thing, surviving cancer. And then she survived me as a mom. My goodness, can you believe that? My poor kids, she meant this. She didn't mean that as an insult. Like when somebody wanted to know if I wanted to see their pet snake, and I asked them if they wanted a dead snake. I apologize for all snake lovers. But, I was in them mountains and fighting them copperheads and them rattlesnakes, and, well, don't feel comfortable around them. But I shouldn't have said that. I'm trying to learn, you know, stop and think. Are you going to hurt somebody's feelings when you say this? Then maybe I won't be so crude and rude and uncouth as somebody told me once. Maybe. We'll see. All I can do is try. And I'm just talking in this phone because I just need to talk. And everybody's working, so I can't talk to nobody. And I talk to my sister Grace, but she gets tired of my complaining about stuff like this. And my nephew Tim, he works, I guess, all the time, and he's helping take care of my sister Grace. And when I talked to him a little while the other day, but he has to go fix dinner and stuff for her, so he can't really talk to me very long. But he's mad. He's mad. I talked to him the other night, and he's mad because it's uncalled for. It's just not. We see now his brother's daughter is a teacher in Kentucky, and every time something happens at a school like this, I think of her. She's a good teacher too. I mean, we stopped and saw him once, and she visited when I was in sister-in-law with her, and she told us that sometimes she'd be there at 10 o'clock at night. Some parents didn't come get their kids, but she couldn't leave. But most people up in Virginia, the principal stays, when the kids can't go home yet. But she said it was the teachers that stayed, and she stayed, and she's such a good soul. And she's beautiful too, beautiful teacher, and I'm sure she's great with them children. And every time something like this happens, I just think, poor teachers. It's just, it's hard these days anyways. I mean, think of teachers having to get through to kids and say, well, it's okay to come to school. And then you got these other people, oh, just drop out of school, get some guns, we go take care of you. Right. No, education's important. The little girl next door, she just graduated from 7th grade and she graduated 8th grade. She's going to high school, freshman in high school. And I congratulated her and asked her if her parents going to frame her little certificate. And she just looked at me and she said she didn't know. And I said, well, you should ask them to. And then I suggested she get a book and keep all of her little certificates in the book. And that way she'd have, a record of her life. you know. And she said, I'm so scared. She's so scared. Said different school, different people, and she's new, and she's, well, she's Hispanic, and she's scared, as most people who are different are scared. I mean, I'm old. My son says, you shouldn't worry, don't hurt old people. But actually, that grandmother that got shot in the face, 66 years old. I'm older than that, so yeah, they do. Man, he says, you ain't got no money. Well, they don't know that, they don't know that. And I've been kind, and I used to pick up hitchhikers because, well, I had a reason. When I was a kid, my mom was hitchhiking to Grundy to pay her taxes, and nobody'd pick her up. She was long-legged, and she walks fast, practically run. I had to run to keep up with her up that mountain. I started getting close to the top, and I started praying, please send me somebody. And I promise you, God, if I ever grow up and get a car, I'll give people rides. And I grew up and got a car, and I did. I picked up hitchhikers all over the place. But then it was 90-degree weather. Had no problem with the hitchhikers before, but it was 90-degree weather out. And this couple, I figured safe because they're a couple, and they were walking, and I felt sorry for them, so I stopped and picked them up. And the guy got in the back seat, and my purse was on the girl got in the front seat, and I had to put my purse in between me on the thing to my car. And did you know what they did? He stole my checkbook, took my purse, took my checkbook, so now I don't pick up hitchhikers. I said, Lord, I think I've given enough rides to pay back for that one ride. Then I drove for Uber. I said, okay, this should be safer. But then after some incidents driving with Uber, and people go to them fights down in D.C. and they be all drunk, and yeah, nah, not for a woman. So I stopped driving at night. I could only work part-time anyway, and at night you made more money, and I'm a night owl. So I'd drive, like 10 o'clock or something or more, and then go home. And yeah, I stopped driving at night. And then COVID came along, and people would argue with me over wearing a mask, and I go, nope. I'm so tired of this, I'm tired of people not wanting to follow the rules, and I have to argue with them to get them to follow the rules, and I just ain't. No, my son got mad, and he said, I can't keep paying for your car so you can work to have fun, because basically I wasn't making much money, because I'd stop and eat dinner, and then I'd dance and spend money dancing, and tipping the band, and he'd go, Mom, I can tip like that because I got money, but you can't. But I was a waitress, and I know they don't get paid well. I mean, it used to be $1.25. I think it's raised now, maybe a little bit higher than that. But Dad, blame you just if you didn't get tips. So I was a waitress at Music's Hotel in Grundy way back when it was still there. It's right under Mount Mission School, and I worked at the cafeteria there. And Bill Monroe came through, and they gave him a free room and free food, and I waited on him. And I thought, well, he's Bill Monroe. And you know what that man did? He tipped me 2 cents. And I thought to myself, wow, it would have been better off if you'd have just said, look, I ain't got no money, or I'd tip you, but you're worth it. That would have been just as good as 2 cents. That's an insult. I never bought another Bill Monroe record. No, I did not. And I told everybody I know about that. So, Bill Monroe, wherever you are, I don't know, but if you had to treat people like that, I don't see how in the world you're walking into heaven. But me, I went to, I cut a CD, and I went to Europe. My daughter, I didn't have no money. My daughter bought a ticket and flew me over there. And I went to Germany, and I touched the wall that had been broken. And I went to Amsterdam, and I went to France and ate dinner, and we ate at these places, and so we could say we were in France, but we didn't go to Paris. And Angel said, don't worry, Mommy, it stinks. So I said, okay. So we ate at some cafeteria there. Then later on, we had to stay in these rooms are so tiny. Oh my goodness, you can't barely move around in them. And so I think one of the beds pulled out of the wall. Oh, wow. Anyways, it was a tiny, tiny room, and when we got ready to leave, I usually leave a tip in the room because the people that clean the rooms, they don't get paid very well either. So I usually, leave them a tip with a note, and I didn't have much money left because we done spent all our money. It was on our way home or something, and after that, and so I left them a CD with a note in it. I don't have much money, but this is as much as I got, and here's my CD. You might not like my music, but maybe somebody might, and left them a CD. Now they probably listened to that music and said, "Boy, that girl can't sing a lick." I don't ever buy her music. I don't know what they said, but that was. And then when I was driving Uber, I had a thing with JB Restaurant that I would promote her restaurant, and she'd promote my podcast, which I'm having technical difficulties because I don't know what I'm doing. So I don't have the podcast up and running. But, so, anyways, I think it was 27 countries, and I told them to come there and go to her restaurant. And somebody actually went, and then they put it on Facebook that they went and they didn't see why they got a 5-star rating. I gave them a 5-star rating because I know the people. And I know they cook clean and they got clean bathrooms. And if there's a problem, you just talk to them and they'll resolve the problem. So, and they don't, if you go there, you don't ever have to worry about, well, I ain't never had no trouble there. I ain't even been there when they threw somebody out because I don't stay to the end. I just stay to where everybody's getting drunk, and then I say, it's time for me to go. But they don't sell hard alcohol. That's what makes people mean. Beer and wine just make them soften up, kind of, I think. But there was never any trouble there. I went, so it was safe. And I performed there years ago when her mom was alive, so I told them to go there. But they got a high rating. They got good food, country food, pizza, you got tacos. I like their tacos. And they have music every night, live music. And they're doing real pretty good. I mean, they're pretty good. I don't know. It's family owned, so it's not like on the stock market or anything, but they're doing okay for the family. I'm just not family. And I never felt like I was family with my family because I was just freaking different. I got a lot of whippings. And mostly because of my mouth, probably. But mommy, but mommy, my mommy. I talked long enough. It's 32 minutes. Nobody's even going to listen to this. But to all you gun violence victims, my heart goes out to you. And all you parents of the children that you lost. I can't even imagine losing mine. My sisters lost their kids, but I did not want to lose my kids before I go. I don't. So I don't know. There's no way you can heal this hurt. Except to just try to work through it and go to counseling. Talk to somebody and tell them what you feel. You know, just don't go out and get a gun and go shooting somebody. Just don't do that. But just tell them what you feel. I know everybody's angry. I'm angry. But just change the gun laws. That's what you got to do. Change the gun laws. And that's it. That's what I'm going to say. Change the gun laws. Maybe I'll write a song called Change the Gun Laws. Peace. Love. Harmony. I can't sing. Harmony. In my voice, I guess when you choke up,